Hey, I know it's been a little over a month since I posted, and I do have an explanation for that. I know for those of you who do watch me, it is a little unfair to kind of disappear without saying anything, and it wasn't my intention at all. Uh, I went through a little bit of a bout of uh, for lack of a better word, like a mental health sort of thing. I'm okay. Like it wasn't anything seriously bad, but I definitely needed to kind of take some time to myself. And I don't think that I realized I was doing that until recently. And I was like, oh, I haven't posted in a while, and I want to get better at being more consistent. And I feel like now I can do that. There's a lot of stuff that's been going on that I could cover, and I'm going to. But I feel like one of the things I need to work on in terms of being a content creator is making a promise and owning up to it, because I seem to do that a lot, and I've kind of realized that I'll say I'm going to do something and do something completely different. So I'm going to try my best from here on out to not make promises, and I'll just do as I do. I just want to kind of, put that out there. I'm sorry for going away. I'm sorry for not saying anything. We're going to talk about my time at GalaxyCon, because I still went, and I'm actually pretty excited to share this experience with you guys. So without further ado, roll it. Hello and welcome back to the channel after almost a month. I'm your Grinning host, Blake, and thank you guys for coming back. Like, it genuinely does mean a lot. Like I said, I did go through some sort of, drainage, mental drainage. I'm not sure exactly how to express that. It wasn't just YouTube. It was kind of just life in general. Again, I'm okay. But we're back, and we're back in it, and I want to talk to you guys about my time at GalaxyCon. I had a great time. I've seen a lot of things online about how their time was at GalaxyCon, and I'm not going to let any of that influence mine. This is my first time at a convention at all, and as you can see, I got some signatures. Neither of them are the ones that I thought I was going to get. I told you guys I was going to get this Funko Pop signed by Ross Marquand, and I told you I was going to get my Vox Machina comic book signed by Laura Bailey, and neither of those happened. Because I didn't know that Tyler Hoechlin and Grant Gustin were going to be there. They were added after I made the video explaining what I was going to do. I only had one Funko Pop Protector, which Flash is in there right now, and Tyler Hoechlin, I've told you guys, one of my favorite TV shows of all time is Teen Wolf, and Tyler Hoechlin being Derek Hill and being Superman in one of my favorite iterations of Superman. Of course, I had to go out and buy a comic book for him to sign. You can see it. It says my name. That's awesome. But we're going to talk about those interactions. So I didn't get this one signed by Ross Marquand. I did get to meet him, and we'll talk about that later. But Laura Bailey, I wanted to get my Vox Machina comic book signed, but her line was capped the entire time. But I want to talk about from beginning to end, so we will get there. So just bear with me. So let's start from the beginning. I mean, I kind of got pictures pulled up right here, so I can kind of go through like the day. So it was me, and you guys know Cam. He's been on the channel before. He's done some podcast episodes with me. He went to Halloween Horror Nights with me. He's done the Halloween thing in the garage. Some of my most popular videos, he was in them. So you know him, you love him. He was there. We kind of wanted to dress up, but money and time. We didn't really have a lot of time to. And at the very last second, I was like, I want to do something. I don't want to just show up in plain clothes. So I pulled this little thing right here, some khakis, some white Converses, a white button up, and I put my Superman t-shirt underneath and put on some glasses. I'm Clark Kent. I thought this is so low budget that it might just be one of the very, if not the only person wearing this thing. I was wrong. I was completely wrong. I saw at least 5 other people. And it's funny because every time I saw somebody else, I would tap them on the shoulder and be like, hey, next time, just let me know so we can figure out, we can't be wearing the same thing. It's embarrassing. I thought it was funny the first 5 times, which is all of them. Being that this was both mine and Cam's first convention, we had no idea what to expect. We thought it would be packed, and boy, did we underestimate how packed it would be. So we go down the escalator into the exhibit hall, and it's just filled with people, like booths and everything. And in my opinion, no disrespect to anybody who had a booth there, or any of the vendors, none of them really caught my eye. Maybe a couple, like they had one with these props. I think it was Artist Alley or whatever it was called. Artist Alley had one of the booths that had like some props, like rubber guns, fake guns, BB guns, blades, stuff like that. Looked pretty cool. There was another one inside of the exhibit hall that had some Fallout stuff, and I'm not like a huge Fallout fan. I like Fallout. I've kind of covered that whenever we talked about Halloween Horror Nights, but it was pretty cool. Like, had some flags and stuff there, but that's not what I was here for. I was here to get some signatures. So we go into the exhibit hall, and one of the other things I didn't think would be how it was the celebrities. I thought it would be like there'd be curtains, bunch of curtains. You'd have to walk in to see them and blah blah blah. You wouldn't be able to see anybody else. You just had to go to your specific spot, whoever you want to meet, and go behind the curtain. Like, I thought that was how it's gonna be. No, I thought it would be like sectioned off, and you have to go through some sort of like security extra. I don't know. Like, I thought it would be separate from all the booths. No, you just walk over. It's like 1 minute you're standing next to a booth with a bunch of toys and phone cases. You take a right turn, and boom, you're faced with freaking Grant Gustin. Like, it's crazy how, like, to me, how I was 10 feet away from Grant Gustin. So I walked over. Flash was the first person I met, and I was, oh my gosh, I didn't get a picture with him. He wasn't doing pictures, but something else. I've got something else where you can see him. But I got this signed. Was the first thing I did. Got this signed by Grant Gustin, and geez, I'm kicking myself even now. I don't know if you could see it from here. It's a little smudged. Because I was talking to him, and I asked him questions. Like, the question I asked him whenever I got out there it was funny. Because I said, if James Gunn were to call you, and he started laughing and like turned to his handler, and they were kind of laughing, and he turned back to me. He was super nice, by the way. Maybe I should probably preface that. Grant Gustin, super nice guy. He did seem a little tired, but we did go on Saturday, and I'm pretty sure it started Thursday, Friday. Pretty sure it was either Thursday or Friday. I can't remember. So I think he was there Friday, and I could see why you could be drained, because think about it. You got all these people lining up to see you, and you're there from all day. So I get it. But he was laughing. He turned, he goes, "I'm so sorry. People have been asking me this question all day. I think it's kind of funny. Of course, yes, I play Flash." And I was like, actually, buddy, buckaroo, hold on, come here. That's not what I was going to ask. So I got you. I didn't say that, but I did. I was like, that wasn't what I was going to ask. But you know what? I'll change it completely. My original question was, who would you play in the DCU besides Flash? But since it was so similar to what people have already been asking him, I wanted to be somewhat creative, even though I'm pretty sure somebody probably asked me this question. But I asked, Kevin Feige called you, who would you play in Marvel? And he told me, and Cam, that he would play like an older version of Peter Parker. That there was some alternate version of Peter Parker where he's older, has, a kid like Mayday or somebody. He would play that version. And I was like, you know what? Honestly, I can see it. Though that's not the biggest revelation of a character casting that I got that day. But we'll get there. Grant Gustin was cool. He was super nice. And it was really weird waiting for him, because right next to him was Tom Cavanaugh, who I also got to sign this, plays Reverse Flash. I don't know if you can see it. I didn't meet him just yet, but as I'm standing in line, I just kind of look over to my right at the booth to the right, and I see Giancarlo Esposito just looking at me, just like looking at me. Like, it was so, I just made eye contact, and I'm like, dude, this is Stan Edgar right there. That's Moff Gideon. Oh my gosh. But it was cool getting to meet Grant Gustin. He was super chill, super nice. Moving around from Grant Gustin, we walked around the corner and we saw Tyler Hoechlin, who, honestly, I've watched The Flash a lot, and I love The Flash TV show, despite like the later seasons. But I absolutely love Superman Lois. Lois, and I absolutely adore Teen Wolf. Like, it's insane how much I love that show. And seeing Tyler Hoechlin just standing there, he did not have that much of a line. Like, the lines moved pretty fast. Like, Grant Gustin had, a decent amount. Like, we were pretty much at the end of the line. But they moved pretty fast. Like, we used to stood in line for maybe 10, 15 minutes waiting on Grant Gustin. We had one person in front of us for Tyler Hoechlin, and that to me was insane. But you know what? Maybe not everybody's cup of tea, but he's my favorite Superman. Like, I love David Cornsweet. Tyler Hoechlin is my favorite Superman from Superman Lois. So I had this, and I got it signed, and he was, oh my gosh, the chillest dude. I've got pictures. Look at this. Like, he was so down to earth, and he talked to us a little bit more than Grant Gustin. And I asked him, well, first, before I asked him anything, Cam started to chime in. Cam, let me explain to you how Cam was about the celebrity, interactions. He's very like, the characters are cool. He loves superheroes, all that stuff. We've had conversations about this, but he doesn't, like, he sees actors as people, like, he doesn't like worship actors. Like, it's like, oh, cool, Grant Gustin. Like, oh, cool, Tyler Hoechlin. Like, oh yeah, nice to meet you, yada yada. Like, he's not gonna flip out. Like, if he saw a celebrity across the street, he's not gonna dash across the street to get a picture or anything. He's just gonna, oh, that's cool. That's just how he is. But I could tell he got a lot more excited after meeting Tyler Hoechlin, because when we got there, he was asking, like, he said, oh, dude, I watched Superman Lois, and you really brought the hope back to Superman. Like, you made Superman again. Whenever Cam said that he brought hope back to Superman, Tyler Hoechlin did blush a little bit. Like, he was like, oh, thank you, dude. It means so much to me, yada, yada. Like, he's a really down-to-earth guy, and he's super humble, and he's just so nice. Like, I was just so, like, Grant Gustin, like, it seemed like he was there to do a job, and, he was, and I'm not faulting him from that, and he did seem tired. It felt like talking to Tyler, though, was more like, it felt more like he wanted to talk to us, not just us specifically, but just the people, than anybody else, and it was, I don't have much words to describe it. It was just very cool. After meeting Tyler Hoechlin, we looked over at Laura Bailey's line. She was completely packed, like capped, could not get in line. They would not let you, too much going on. So I was like, okay, we'll come back later. So we walked around. We decided to go through the exhibit hall. Wanted to see what was going on. We did see a bunch of cool cosplays. Like this first one right here, we saw Sally and Jack Skellington. Now, I've never been to GalaxyCon. I've never seen anything about this con or any con in general, so I don't know what the inner workings are. We had a booklet that told us all the events that they had, and like things that you can go do at this convention, but we didn't really look at them. We just kind of went with the flow, went to go find things. That was kind of the fun for us, just going out and finding different things. So I didn't know that this guy was actually here for a costume or cosplay contest, a craftsmanship cosplay contest, which we will see later. And on top of that, we also saw this guy right here, who is also part of that same cosplay contest. This alien xenomorph looked dope, like it's homemade. And I just thought that was just the most crazy thing ever. Like, it was so cool, the amount of creativity and hard work must have went into building those two, cosplays. So after that, we kind of walked outside, walked around a little bit. We did get hungry, and instead of eating there, which, at this time we thought we wouldn't, but of course I got some snacks. We went to McDonald's on the street. That's not, a big deal. We kind of stayed, talked a little bit, and then we headed back. This is where we walked around and we found the main stage, I think it was called, which is the big room that has the stage. They hold the Q&As. This is where the cosplay contest was put in. And we saw on the billboard, like on the little board, it showed like all the times for all the different shows or whatever. And we saw that Andy Serkis, who played Caesar in Planet of the Apes, played Smeagol or Gollum in Lord of the Rings. He was Alfred in Robert Pattinson's Batman. And I know Cam likes those movies a lot, so I was like, hey, do you want to go see this? He said, sure. 2 minutes to start. We got in there. We actually got a pretty good, like a decent seat. We were actually on the very end to the left in the middle. So like right next to an aisle. And that's where everybody was lining up because it was a Q&A. Everybody's lining up to go up to the mic and have a conversation or talk, not a conversation, but, you know, ask a question, he'd talk. So I'll roll a couple clips from that.
Look at this. This is, you guys came out this weekend. This is amazing.
Wow.
Woo! My goodness gracious. All right, I say let's get into it since we already have a line. I'll just ask a couple questions first.
Andy Serkis, really cool dude, really funny, told us a story about how he broke a rib while filming Black Panther because somebody asked him what it was like working with the late Chadwick Boseman. He seemed like a really cool guy. I haven't, you know, dived into his work a lot, but he did seem like a really down-to-earth person. Really love the passion for his, you know, for his art form, for what he does on screen. And I really applaud him for all the motion capture and just the emotion that he brings to non-human characters. Before we had walked into this Q&A though, I did notice that the Flash actors, Grant Gustin and Tom Cavanaugh, were hosting a Q&A directly after Andy Serkis, and I was like, well, here's my chance. We can just stay in here and I'll hop in line. So before they were even done with Andy Serkis's Q&A, he already had a long line. They said, we have time for one more question. I was like, okay, here's my chance. I'm just gonna hop in the back of this line and wait there until the Flash actors come out. So that's what I did. I waited there, and honestly, smartest idea I ever had. Because as soon as I got in the back of the line, everybody from Andy Serkis's line, whenever he got up to leave, left. Except for like 3-4 people. So I had 3 or 4 people in front of me. I was like, dude, I've got this. I'm gonna ask them a question. I'm gonna talk to both Grant Gustin and Tom Cavanaugh. And I thought that I'd be a lot more like scared or nervous. And trust me, I was. Like, I thought I'd be more starstruck. And that's not a bad thing. Like, I'm glad I was able to keep my composure. I finally get up to the front and I have this great question prepared. And at least I thought it was a great question. And I tried to get both me and Cam to record, and for some reason, I don't know why, but whenever you like zoom in or like zoom out on your iPhone, the microphone that you have, it distorts. So my audio for me asking a question on my phone, kaput. It was not good. You could not hear a single thing. So Cam luckily did get a shot of the screen. So here's that.
My question is kind of about you. First off, rest in peace, H.R. Wells. First and foremost. I mean.
Yeah, that one kind of failed. That you know, it wasn't a joke. I did like H.R. Wells. He was my favorite Wells, but I thought, you know, people had, you know, said stuff on at the microphone for Andy Serkis and stuff, and people were like, ooh, you know, they like, you know, said their opinions about, you know, movies they've done, like, you know, it's like, ooh, you know, heck yeah. I thought that I would have some people agreeing, maybe clap, you know. Yeah, that it just fell dead, like face planted. And I just, you know, smooth recovery, smooth in my book at least. So I just asked my question.
Thank you. But my question to both of you is, Tom, you played various versions of Wells. And I'm wondering, for both of you, how did you get into character and play the different Wells differently, and how did you react to them separately?
You know, I get a lot of people come up and when we talk about it are like, whoa, how do you know? Like I get a lot of I don't know what the right word is, maybe credit for it, which I don't deserve. Like I honestly feel like that was an opportunity and a privilege. And if you're fortunate to be in a long-running show, almost always you're not playing, you know, 10 characters, right? So that challenge was awesome, and I was grateful for it. I did not find. To me, they're all like HR and Sherlock, and they're all Harry. They're all just right there, you know. And so with accessing, like Grant will back me up. I think once you have the character, you can access it anytime you want. So it's just having a question of having a quiver of 5 or 6 as opposed to 1 or 2.
Yeah, for me, I mean, that's the easiest part of acting. Is like you don't need to do any preparation to react to something. It's you just kind of come in and I get to just sit and watch whatever he's going to do and roll with it. And that's because you never know what you're going to get. And for me, that's the most fun part of acting being across from somebody where you have no idea what's going to happen next, and you just have to listen to them and watch them and respond to them.
And largely the fact that most of them were annoying was helpful too. And also like a number of them hating each other was also cool. You know, so yeah, there was a lot of negativity in a good way. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So that was their answer to that question, and some may call that lazy or, you know, very generic, but honestly, it does make sense because once Tom Cavanaugh did have that character, the very minute difference, because technically they weren't all the same character, just from different universes. Once he had that, it was fairly easy probably to jump right into it for a full season, and it was probably easy for Grant to look at him as different because it all just is all reacting. You just react to whatever happens, and, you know, that, yeah, I mean, I still think it was a pretty good question. Q&A's very fun. Definitely had a lot of, like, one of the most, you know, probably the most memorable things from GalaxyCon. I definitely liked seeing them. There was a lot more that I kind of wanted to do, but obviously there was a lot of stuff that me and Cam wanted to do as well, so I had to prioritize. Those were the two that we saw, so we kind of kept walking around. Here's another shot of how crowded it was, and there were some like stairwells, escalators and stuff that you had to go see, or had to go to the exhibit hall. We kept circling back to Laura Bailey just to see, but her line was capped the entire time, and I kept saying, oh, well, I'll wait till it gets lower. Oh, by the end, like toward the end of the day, it'll get lower. People have already seen it. Yada yada. It's wrong. I was dead wrong about that one. But as we were walking, Cam started getting excited seeing all the cosplays, and he was definitely a lot more upset that he didn't do anything. He thought about wearing a Jason Voorhees costume, but he didn't know that this con would also have like horror stuff. I don't know why. He knew Derek Mears, who played, you know, Jason in the reboot, the 2009 reboot. He knew he was going to be there, so I'm not sure why he thought. He knew Scream cast was going to be there. Although Matthew Lillard and Skeet Ulrich, I think that's how you say his last name, they canceled, but the voice of Ghostface was there. So I don't know why he thought that, you know, horror stuff wouldn't be there. But speaking of horror stuff, we did get a picture with this Jason, so it's pretty cool seeing him. We saw BB-8 from Star Wars. Don't know how that works. I seriously have no clue how that works, but hey, maybe somebody can explain it to me in the comments. Saw Dr. Doom. He was pretty cool. I think he actually was part of one of the vendors, so that was pretty cool. We'll talk about Dr. Doom in another video if you guys understand what I'm saying. We saw these guys right here. Not sure what they're supposed to be. Maybe somebody can enlighten me, but they were pretty funny, so look at these guys. Yeah, they were pretty funny. But right after, I know that me and Cam saw a Helldiver, you know, in cosplaying, that person cosplaying a Helldiver. And Cam really wanted a picture with them. So we kept walking around trying to find them again. And finally we found them. So here's that. We also met the Riddler, the Joker, and Penguin right here. This Iron Man, his face could, you know, the helmet piece, the face piece on the helmet could, you know, move. I've seen it online. I'm sure you guys have too. That was pretty cool. And directly after him, we met Miguel O'Hara, which I really like the way that this suit looked on this guy. Like it didn't look janky like some other, you know, Spider-Man could look in cosplay. So I don't know what he used exactly, but it looked pretty good. We kept walking around a little bit more, saw R2-D2. That was pretty fun. Then we went back into the exhibit hall to go back to see if Laura Bailey's line was any lower. And we met Master Chief. That was pretty cool. And yeah, that was kind of what we did in the exhibit hall right there. So after that, Cam, you know, they had a couple bars around. So this is the start of a story that's going to be told on TikTok. So I'll tell you more about that in a second. But we got a drink. I had a beer. You know, family friendly here, trying to be at least. I had a beer. You know, I thought it'd be funny. Turn my glasses, roll down a sleeve. I was completely sober. You know, aside from just the one beer, and it was pretty fun. We just kind of took a break. We went back down to the exhibit hall to check for Laura Bailey, and it was still capped, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Like, I can't believe that she was probably the most popular person there. That's nothing against her. It's just with some of the other actors and stuff there, I probably thought that maybe Grant Gustin would have been one of the most popular people there. Giancarlo Esposito, maybe, but I was dead wrong. But after that, we started walking around and we noticed that Ross Marquand, who plays Aaron in The Walking Dead, who plays who plays Immortal in Invincible, and a couple other stuff. We saw that his line was pretty low, and I was like, well, I don't have anything for him to sign, but I could probably get a selfie with him. So we hopped in line. Pretty chill dude. Like, it was right there at the end of the day though, so I could tell he was still tired, but he did make the effort to talk to us. He was talking to the group in front of us for a while, and at some point they made a slight on him about being immortal, which who wouldn't? And he made a joke about how, oh, I'm not going to take you guys to go, drinking in New York anymore. Like, that's done. And I spoke up, and I was like, I'll take it, and we had a laugh. And when we got there, we took a bunch of pictures that were live pictures, so I kind of got a little video. So let's see that real quick.
At the end of the day, it's perfect timing. Crazy face, super serious, angry, and big smile, and a nice normal one. Hell.
Very cool guy. Had a great time meeting him. I loved, the jokes that he made. He was very cool. And as we were waiting though to meet him, Nolan North, who voices Nathan Drake in Uncharted, who's done Deadpool in the Deadpool game, pretty sure he was Superman and Superboy in Young Justice. So a bunch of different, very popular voice actor here. And I love the Uncharted game so much, so I instantly recognized him. And his team was kind of folding up their table, like the cloth on their table, and he was about to leave. So as he was walking past me, I was like, oh, have a good one, Nolan. And he was like, oh, I'm just going to tinkle. Like, in a funny voice. I was like, oh, that's pretty funny. So I thought, well, let me go get a selfie with this guy. Like, that'd be awesome. Nolan North, I grew up playing Uncharted. I love Superman. And one of my favorite DC animated shows is Young Justice. So I was like, well, how about I just hop over? But he was in the bathroom, and I didn't want to just linger in his line. I felt like that'd be kind of weird. So we kind of just walked around and looked at all the cosplays. A lot of the celebrities and stuff, they were already gone. They were packing up to leave. I know Michael Rooker was on his last, couple people. Sean Gunn had already moved. We did see this celebrity right here. If you guys don't know this guy, he probably was the most popular person, most popular celebrity. Don't know why he didn't have a long line at all to take a picture with him. And he was free. He wasn't charging anything. It was Man Ray. Man Ray. Did not think I would see Man Ray. Whoever you were in that cosplay, leave me a comment if you're watching this. That was a great cosplay. That probably one of my favorites. So we took a picture with Nolan North. We went back. He was there. Had a conversation. But before we even got up to him, I was kind of playing on my phone because we did end up waiting in his line for the last 2 minutes. We circled around a couple times, all right, we're just gonna hop in line before people start doing it. And I was playing on my phone, and then I feel this presence right in front of me, and I look up, and he's directly in my face, and I'm like, oh, hey, and he laughs and goes back around. It was 2 people ahead of us, so they had their interaction, and Cam was very interested in the way that Nolan North does his voices and how he makes them different, what his process is. So he asked that question to Nolan, talked to us a long time about different voices that he does and how he trains and what he does, and keeps his voice okay. And it was really cool getting to meet him. He took a bunch of pictures. Here they are right here. And as he was taking them at the very last second in the last picture, I started to pull my shirt open to reveal the Superman, and he stopped. He took the picture midway through me doing that, and he started to lower it. But then he noticed what I was doing. He was like, "Oh wait, no, that's good. Do it again." So we took another picture with that. It was really cool. So I thanked him for doing the voice acting and how much I love Uncharted, and I grew up playing those games. So it was never in my life, thinking about 11-year-old me playing Uncharted 3 and just not knowing that I would get to meet Nathan Drake. And I feel like it still hasn't hit me, but I got to meet some of my favorite actors. It's crazy. In the acting realm, in the celebrity realm, that's it. Laura Bailey, we tried to go back, but her line was capped, and they had like an overflow line, and when we got there, the person who was holding the cap sign was like, nah, she's done for the day after this, so sorry. I was like, ah, man, it is what it is. I got some cool interactions anyway, so I'll enjoy the rest of the night. So we walked around a little bit more. We met Daredevil here. He was pretty cool, in that costume, and we found that there was going to be a show for the cosplay contest that I mentioned earlier. So that was pretty fun, getting to, see that. The one thing, though, while these clips play in the background, one thing that did kind of, rub me the wrong way, or maybe that's not the right word. One thing that did kind of drag, one thing that made me bored, is these costumes were great. These cosplays, I feel like, were very carefully made, and I did enjoy getting to see them. But they had 3 tiers. They had like the novice, the people who've never done a competition before, who are new to the whole building your own cosplay thing. Then they had journeymen, which they've been in the game for a little bit. They've done a competition here or there. They've done cosplays before. And then they have like masters, which, they've done cosplay competitions. They've won cosplay competitions. They've been in this for a long time, yada, yada. I'm telling you guys, we were in novice for a long time. They just kept bringing people out. And they were like, at one point, I even looked over to Kim and was like, dude, how many novice people do we have? And he got to the point where he thought that they weren't announcing the shift between the 2 tiers. So at some point, we were like, oh my God, like an hour. And they were going by fast. They'd be like, oh, we got this person cosplaying this person. They'd walk across, wave, walk down. That's how long it took. I'm telling you guys, an hour almost, if not over an hour. And I was like, oh my God, like these are good, but it's like, geez, we're sitting here for a while. And Cam had brought up like, oh, maybe they're not, saying the shift in the tiers. And I was like, maybe you're right. Now we're moving on to the journeyman tier. I was like, what in the world is going on? How many? I said, if novice was that long, how long is masters gonna be? But those 2 were way shorter, and we did get to see all these cosplays, and I do like a lot of them. There were some of them I was like, but I'm no cosplayer. I don't build them, so even if I didn't fully like them, I can respect the fact that they were handcrafted. So anybody that was watching this that was in that, because there are a lot of you, because even though apparently there was pre-judging where people didn't get put in the competition, there was still a lot of you. I do applaud you. Good job. It was really cool getting to see like the Q&As and stuff like that. There were, like I said, a bunch of different other stuff, other like little mini events that we could have seen but we didn't get to go to, that I probably would have had a lot of fun at. So those were some pros. The cons that kind of play off of that is the fact that how busy it was and how packed it was, that things were getting capped out. Like there were a couple events that me and Cam were going to get in line to that they were just capped. They weren't going to let anybody else in, so we didn't get to experience those things. But other than that, great time. Had a great time doing that. That's all that I have for this whole GalaxyCon experience. I hope you guys enjoyed my experience. If you haven't gone, I would say if it sounds like it's for you, go try it out. If not, no worries. I'm sure there's probably a con out there, or maybe you're just not a con person. But if there is, maybe you'll find one and you'll have a great time. Before I sign off, I do want to say that like I said at the beginning of the video, I have a lot of stuff that I want to cover, and I will. I have seen Superman. I want to talk about that. I have seen Fantastic Four twice. Once with Cam, the other with Caroline, and I actually just watched the one with Caroline in IMAX tonight. Like before I did this video, we went to go see it. So I've got some stuff I gotta say about that. I know that Tom Holland and Marvel and the Spider-Man have released some stuff. We'll cover that as well. And also, the excitement I can't contain. He did get announced at Howling Horror Nights and a bunch of other stuff. So we're gonna talk about that at some point as well. But those are videos for another time. So all right, I gotta stop talking too much. This video is getting a little too long. So thank you guys for sticking it out with me. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry for being absent for a while. Again, it was something I didn't even realize was happening, and I'm I'm going to be more consistent, or try to be at least. Just bear with me as I get through all this stuff. And like I said, I really do appreciate it. I don't know how else I can express it to you guys. Can't wait to talk to you guys about those other things. But other than that, I've been your grinning host, Blake. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot to tell you guys. Tyler Hoechlin, that question I asked him was if he could play a character in the DCU that wasn't Superman, who he'd play. He instantly said Batman. And I was like, oh my gosh, I could see it. So hashtag Tyler Hoechlin for Batman. Sorry, Robert Pattinson.